Welcome to the InsideOut Podcast, where we unearth and unleash the soul of your brand, revealing who you are on the inside, your mission, your culture, your core values, because your brand DNA is what powers and fuels your business exponentially. I'm your host, Barbara Yolles Ludwig, and today is going to be a really fun day. Today's episode is called Redefining Pink. And I'm joined by someone whose journey is as inspiring as the mission she leads. Meet Molly MacDonald, the founder and CEO of the Pink Fund, a nonprofit that is tackling a too often overlooked part of the breast cancer fight, financial toxicity. And while many organizations focus on awareness and research, Pink Fund is dedicated to providing immediate financial bridge supporting patients in active breast cancer treatment, helping them keep a roof over their heads, food on the table, and their family running during one of life's hardest battles. This is a brand that's not only built on compassion, but action. So in today's conversation, we'll explore how the Pink Fund has become more than a cause. It has become a trusted and recognizable brand among all the pink brands today. And I'm excited to introduce Molly, who turned her own breast cancer fight and financial hardship into a movement that is changing lives. She's built a national lifeline and provides real-time financial assistance. She's a sought-after thought leader, an award-winning patient advocate, and editor-in-chief of the Breast Cancer Wellness magazine, and a very, very dear friend. So welcome, Molly.
Thank you. Good Monday morning.
Yes. So Molly, I like to start off with a fun fact with people, and I know you are super fun. So give us a fun fact and don't make it about riding a bike.
Okay, that's a good one. Okay, well, a fun fact is I'm a member of the Third Times a Charm Club. I have
Oh,
2 ex-husbands.
well then, okay. We kind of share that club.
Yeah.
So I've known Molly for a really long time. We go back to what year, Molly? It has to be
2011, we met at the
two.
Detroit Auto Show charity preview.
Yes. And tell us about this incredible meeting of us and how we got together on Pink Fund.
So at the time, Pink Fund was aligned with the Miss Michigan USA pageant, and my job was to parade Miss Michigan USA around the auto show. And you saw us, and I saw you. You were with your not then, but now husband, Bill. And it was very clear that you two were connecting and falling in love. And you are so beautiful, Barbara, that I wanted to know you. And that was how we first met. And then you moved into marketing for a mortgage company. And I, at the same time, was doing marketing for a mortgage company. And we kind of reconnected there because one of the challenges that patients have when they're in active treatment for any type of cancer is how do they handle lost income and how do they make their mortgage or rent payments? So there was an alignment there right away.
Yeah. So Molly, tell your story about how you founded Pink Fund. It's such an incredible story.
So I was diagnosed at a job transition. So I was thrust back into the working world after being out for 12 years, wiping butts and noses of my 5 children. And my former husband went bankrupt, lost all our money. Our beautiful big home in Bloomfield Hills was auctioned off at a sheriff's sale. All the cars were repossessed. And I learned that my name had been forged in our income tax and I owed the IRS $1 million. So I sold everything I could, rented a house for cash, moved my kids from private school to public school, and re-entered the workforce, which was really challenging because at that time I was middle-aged, and
Right.
middle-aged back then, 28 years ago, was very old. So I decided to segue my career away from the corporate world, for which I was completely ill-suited. I'd been a journalist. I could not understand why you couldn't get something done in 24 hours. I mean, I would say to people, we got a newspaper out every single day and we were half sober. So I didn't get it. And it was so siloed and so political. So I thought I should go into sales. So I was really intrigued with vehicle wraps. They were just starting in large and grand format banners. So I joined a company called American Mobile Wraps. I sold the whole deal to PT Cruiser at Chrysler. And then that company was sold. And I read in Crane's Detroit Business about a company called iMagnet that was a division of an exhibit display company that had bought a large format press. And so I cold called the company and talked to the person who was running that division of their company and pitched myself. And he said, "Can you come in for lunch tomorrow?" So I went in for lunch, and by 3 o'clock, I had a job offer.
I'm
So
not
I was really
surprised.
great at selling ideas around how to take your brand and make it very like head turning. So, like a mobile billboard. So
Right.
I
So
sold
are
the
you
first.
saying you're like a mobile billboard?
Well, I do
You're
have
like
stickers of myself. See here. See, I have stickers of myself.
I know, I love those stickers.
um, yeah,
Everybody
mine.
should have stickers of themselves and, like, stick
Yeah,
them everywhere. I love
yeah.
that.
You know, in advertising, and you know this, you want to be disruptive. So how can you disrupt people in a way that they're not going to turn away? And that was kind of the thing with iMagnet that you're looking at this. So I had there was a company in Detroit that was outbidding me. They were doing their production in Kentucky. And so I cold called them and pitched them on hiring me and setting me up in the Detroit market as a woman-owned division of their business, a WBNC,
Right,
would then really allow them to get more of the business. They would still have, they could do the production of the graphics in Kentucky. They'd have to do union fees in Detroit for installation. So they
mhm,
agreed. We went forward. I quit my job, and then I made the decision to have my annual mammogram. So, I'm in this interim period between starting this other position, and my mammogram
right,
comes back suspicious. And then the biopsy comes back positive for early stage breast cancer. Um, the irony was is that I was in New York City pitching Major League Baseball. We were about to get that client. That Major League game was going to be played in Detroit in July of
right,
2005. And as a woman-owned division of this business, I had a little edge on the other companies that were bidding. And
right,
so I'm going back. I'd gone to their Park Avenue offices and met with this woman named Ann O.C., who was running all the marketing then. And thought, "Oh my God, we're finally going to be okay," because we had experienced financial toxicity, our family, but not related to cancer, just through the divorce and the things that had happened.
right.
So I get a call from my OBGYN. I'm in this cab on the way to LaGuardia, asking me if I could come into her office on Monday. I'm like, "Oh no, we're not waiting the
Right,
weekend. What's going on?" And she's told me that I had breast cancer. So I got on the plane. This is kind of a funny part. And I had bought some chocolate mousse at Grand Central Station, the Union Oyster Bar, because they have the
right,
best chocolate mousse, but they no longer have that anymore, which is really ticks me off. They used to have oysters. But anyway, so I'm standing in line at the airport. Remember, it's 2005, and I'm eating this, feeding my feelings. And I'm
right,
calling my husband on my cell phone, and I'm trying to tell him that I have cancer, and he can't hear me. And I'm crying, and chocolate is running down my face, and people are backing away from me, like, oh.
right.
And so I get on the plane, and I'm crying again, and because I don't know what's going on. And this man sitting next to me rings the bell and asks if he could move his seat. He didn't want to be next to this woman eating the chocolate mousse and crying on the plane.
Right,
It turned out that I had an very early stage disease that was unlikely to take my life, but did take my livelihood. So I left me
Mhm.
unemployed. I mean, essentially, I drove down to Kentucky with my husband and shared what was going on. And I said, "I don't know that I can let you make this investment in the Detroit market," because I didn't know
right,
what it meant. So
right.
no job, no savings, no alimony, no child support, and a Cobra premium of 1,300 a month. So this home that I rented for
And 5
cash,
kids.
and 5 kids. So this home that I rented for cash in 1997, that my mother at 80 got a 30-year mortgage so the kids and I wouldn't be homeless on the condition I'd make the payments, now falls into foreclosure.
Oh my gosh. So, I recall you telling me you had to go get food stamps to feed the kids and, when
So
did the vision come for the Pink Fund?
so you go to chemo, and there are people there. Fortunately, I didn't have to have chemo, but radiation, I was in the waiting room 6 weeks, same time every day. So you start to kind of become friendly with the other women who are waiting or
Mhm.
finishing up their treatment. And the things that I heard them talking about were things like, "This is costing a lot of money. I'm not working. We're going to have to bring so and so home from college. We're going to have to put the house on the market. We're going to lose everything.
Really hard
I'm going to
decisions.
stop treatment and go back to work because we're going to lose
Mhm.
everything." And then I went home to my husband, who I call Tom Terrific, because you have to be terrific or insane to marry a twice divorced, middle-aged woman with 5 children, night sweats, and a mildly demented mother. So I went home to Tom and I'm like, by this point, I'm in line at the food bank. So we'd rescued the house from foreclosure. Ford agreed to extend my lease on my car so they didn't repossess that. And I was paying the utilities. But I had no food. So I said, Tom, I want to start this organization that will pay these non-medical bills to patients' creditors for housing, transportation, utilities, and insurance to provide them with a financial bridge so they can adhere to their treatment protocol as prescribed. And he told me later, he said, well, I knew you had lost your breast, but now I'd lost your mind. But because he sleeps with me and I was a lot cuter 20 years ago,
You're
he went
pretty
along with it.
cute.
Yeah.
You're pretty cute.
Yeah. So he went along with it. We bootstrapped it. So I traded a Aerosarin and tulip table, which 20 years ago wasn't as popular as it is now, for a graphic design. I got a donated website, and then that health writer at the Detroit Free Press, where I'd been an executive, agreed to write a front page story, which was published October 2nd, 2006, about what I was trying to do. And there were newspapers then, and 27 newspapers in this McClatchy chain picked them up, and that's how we got started.
Incredible. Such an incredible story. And you going through that financial strife and envisioning this and making it happen while you're going through it is amazing. Talk to me about, there's a lot of pink out in the world, pink washing, pink organizations. Did you worry when you named it and selected the brand identity that pink was going to break out in kind of the sea of sameness? What
Well, back
I
then,
don't think I've ever asked you, like, why'd you pick
so
Pink
back then
Fund?
there wasn't as much noise in the space. There wasn't as much pink noise in the space. Right now, it's estimated that there are nationally, well, they're not all national charities, but there are about 1,400 to 1,500 breast cancer charities in the United States. Many of them are providing psychosocial support. Some of the few ones are trying to provide medical support, research, dollars, which is very important, rides to treatment, various things. But there is, I will tell you, by the end of October, I'm completely pinked out. I've had enough. There's
You've
a
had enough
lot,
pink.
yeah. And I think that for patients who are in stage 4 treatment, which means their cancer has left the breast and metastasized to vital organs, bones, brain,
Right.
I think that it's very wearisome for them. And because they're living with a terminal disease. So their lives have been extended, but it's most likely they'll die from breast cancer. So pink washing, you asked about that, is really when a brand uses it to elevate their brand, which is not all bad. But it
What
can be
was your
bad.
intention? I mean, you selected the name and the color. The
It was
color is the name.
recognizable, right? I mean, everybody knew that pink was pretty much breast cancer. Like, I couldn't have the blue fund or the black fund or that time, 20 years ago, there just weren't that many charities. So,
Well, do you think it stands for what you want it to stand for today?
well, fortunately, thanks to the rebrand of your organization, Ludwig, we were able to rebrand it in a way that there's shading on the words Pink Fund. So previously it was just plain pink. And in the beginning, I had started another organization called Shades of Pink Foundation. And I had asked my surgeon and my girlfriend to help me with that. And within a year, they sent me a courier delivered letter severing their relationship with me and basically kicking me out of my own organization, which I will tell you was more shocking than learning my name was virgin or income tax and I owed the IRS $1 million from my former husband.
I bet.
However, they did me a favor because while they're very local and they're still helping people, but I had a bigger vision for a national organization.
Real help for the other part of the fight repositioned Pink Fund with a new narrative, strong voice, and arresting images that revealed the very real choices that breast cancer patients face during treatment in their everyday living. Hefty competition spending substantial dollars made it critical for Pink Fund to break through with high impact. L Plus capitalized on social campaigns throughout the year to shift the focus, along with print, events, and out of home. The Eyes Up Here campaign earned the attention of sponsors, and we literally directed the eyes of C-suite sponsors and individual donors. Ludwig Plus declared the month of October as Unawareness Month. We flipped the script by asking wearers of ubiquitous pink ribbons to turn them upside down, which symbolically drove awareness of and support for the cause. The results? Pink Fund has secured national status with Ford, Snap-on Tools, point-of-sale displays in 9,000 CVS stores, Land's End, and more. ANA and Ad Age recognized the campaign as Purpose Campaign of the Year for 2 years. But it's not the spotlights that make us shine. Most importantly, Pink Fund has helped tens of thousands of patients pay their bills, so they focus on themselves and fighting the disease with everything they've got.
So
Right.
when Ludwig picked us up and did a really deep dive on all the other pink in this space, they came back with a disruptive campaign that helped us to stand out in the
And
pink
and
space.
and so and let's talk about the rebrand because, you and I met and then years later we reconnected on the rebrand. What made you want to do the rebrand?
I was watching what Ludwig was doing for other companies that was really disruptive and helping them rise above what I would call the noise in their industries. When I saw these two balloons between these skyscrapers in New York City and the Squeeze It In campaign, I was
Mhm.
really intrigued. So I called you because that was really a great campaign.
Right.
And then you also had the two clocks showing that it really only takes 15 minutes to get a mammogram. And I really think, and I know I'm not here to advertise or market for you, but I think that your secret sauce is this way of bringing a brand to market in a way that people can't turn away, almost like the large and grand format graphics when they got started. It was a new thing and
Right.
people didn't turn away. So,
There was amazing fact you shared, the University of Michigan study about women foregoing breast cancer treatment. Talk a little bit about that and kind of the reality of the financial toxicity.
well, the study that we did with University of Michigan was, gosh, I put them on my vision board. That was more a study of, and I'm going to have to remember this, how they want to be screened, when they want to be screened for financial toxicity. So when you go to your physician for your annual physical, they'll ask you questions, about your mental health, your sexual health, are you drinking alcohol, are you smoking? But they never ask you anything about your finances, right? And
Mhm.
so, and that's financial toxicity has become a pretty hot topic now. And so there's a lot of research being done on how we screen anybody for that challenge and how that's going to impact their life and the healthcare system. Because it's
Mhm.
very much a circular issue. If you miss treatment because you can't get there because you don't have a car or
Right.
you have to go to work, you're that hospital is not going to have that revenue. It's just
Right.
it's a real circular holistic problem. So
But
by
what's the number, Molly? Was it like 40% of women
41%, yeah, skip it
will
all.
actually skip or forego or delay treatment
Mhm.
because they
Yep,
can't take care of their
41%.
family?
Mhm,
Amazing. Yeah, just
mhm,
amazing.
mhm,
So you we rebranded.
mhm.
Talk about the impact of that rebrand on the organization, your sponsorship efforts. How has the rebrand positively impacted that?
Well, after I saw the Squeeze It In campaign, I called you and I
Mhm.
said, "We don't have a lot of money. We're a tiny baby charity, but I would like to talk to you about how you might help us." And so I went in and I think I told you, like, pretend we're dating and we can only have a cocktail and an appetizer. That's what we can afford. We don't
Right.
have the main course. But I remember thinking that you would do such an amazing job that this would help you get other business. And that was a win-win. And so in all my relationships and partnerships, whether it's individuals or corporates, I look for the win-win. If it's
Yeah.
just all good for me, it's not how I want to go. I really
Right.
want it to always be good for you as well.
And it was good for us, but talk about the impact it's had for the organization. Has it allowed you to advance the cause, advance
Yeah.
sponsorships, open
So
doors?
yeah, so the video that was done, we show for all our pitch meetings. it's 90, we tell them it's 90 seconds. It's really 110, but I like to make it sound like it's shorter. And it's such a powerful video. I remember I was in the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program 2022. And I met a videographer there in New York City, and I showed her the video, and she was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." So the video is really an amazing marketing tool that lays out what the challenges these patients face and causes the viewer to think, how can I help?
Yeah. And no, I think what's cool about it is it connects it to your everyday life in a way that's so meaningful. But
Hmm.
also, I think people are looking to make an immediate impact, right? And I think that's what's so unique about Pink Fund is it's not money that goes into this research vacuum, which is important. I'm not minimizing the importance of investing or committing money to that, but you're making a very real impact on a patient's life in real time, and talk a little bit about that and that what that looks like for you.
So I think for people that are wanting to engage in the breast cancer space, research is obviously very important, but it takes $1.5 billion in about 10 to
Uh-huh.
20 years at least to bring a drug to market. You think about the clinical trials and the cost of the trials, and then bringing it to market, packaging, all of those things, the FDA.
Uh-huh.
When you engage with us, we can show you exactly through data where your money goes because we don't give the money to the patient. It's paid directly to their creditors. So we could tell
Right.
you more the mortgage companies we're paying, the car companies we're paying, what states they're in. We have a lot of patient data that also is very valuable, de-identified in terms of we can share the age, the grade and stage of disease, the household income, the level of education. And now with
Uh-huh.
all of AI, we can take a lot of that data and start to do some predictive analysis. Now, we don't do that, but we can do that, or it could be used that way. We do not sell or share our data. Any research that we're involved in, the patient opts in with the researcher, so it's all clean. Tell me
Right.
the question you asked me again, because I think I forgot it.
Well, I was asking about the impact that you're making on patients, like how much
So we
impact
know, yeah.
and
So we know that by paying these bills, we alleviate a lot of anxiety. We help reduce the financial toxicity that they're experiencing. We help them avoid medically related bankruptcy. And we help them remain on their treatment plan. So we get a lot of testimonials that are really impactful. People are telling us
Uh-huh.
they can sleep better at night, or they can now go to the grocery and get whole food.
Uh-huh.
Um, that they're not worried they're going to be evicted, that their car is going to be repossessed. That's a big one. Because if their car is repossessed, in most cities or well, rural communities, you can't get to treatment. There's no way.
Right. Right. So you'll cover their bills for
Up
3
to three
months.
months, 3 months,
How many patients have you helped through the years?
close to 5,000.
Wow,
But
amazing.
the amount is 3,000. So that's while there are other organizations that step in and provide some financial support. Some of it is we're going to put $500 in your bank account one time, which is great because cash is wonderful, but you can't tell a donor where it's going. Um,
Right.
some will pay a one-time bill. Some organizations have open and closed funding. We do not. I think that is just based on their ability to have the revenue to support their program.
Right.
Um,
Right.
it's a real challenge for patients because they're going down multiple rabbit holes to get support.
Right. Molly, I know you talked about when you created Pink Fun, you had a vision board and
Hmm.
and I don't know, does the vision change? Do you change the vision? Are you realizing the vision? How's the brand played a role in that?
Well, my favorite thing is corporate partnerships because I believe that gives corporations an opportunity to do good and do well in their communities. And so on my vision board is primarily corporate partnerships. So the first one that I put on was the Ford Blue Oval in 2007.
Mhm.
And I knew that Ford was working in a space with Komen, which at the time really was the big brand in the breast cancer
Right.
space, doing lots of great work and research. And I do want to say something about Komen that I think really is their ultimate legacy, which is they removed the shame from the disease single-handedly. They were the
Yeah.
first to the pink party, and their walks in 3 days really got women out of their homes. Prior to this, women were hiding. They were shamed.
Yeah.
They didn't want people to know they had breast cancer. Um, so I think Komen's greatest legacy is removing the shame from the disease. They clearly elevated pink for sure.
Right.
Um, so in terms of our brand and how it works, I think people are really impacted that they know that they're going to make an immediate difference. Well, when I say immediate, 30-day difference in the lives of these people, that these bills are going to be paid. And often, like with Ford, all the money that they deliver to us through their Warriors in Pink program goes to make car payments. So it's a brand alignment with mobility.
Yeah, great alignment. So, do you think the branding has helped bring your vision board closer to reality?
Yeah, it's been disruptive. I mean, the
Yeah.
back of everything is, this is black. Well, it's glavy. I love this. It's black and navy. Actually, I should have worn a black shirt under here because I love black and navy. So this looks black,
It's a
but it's
good
really,
color combination. Yeah, it's
yeah, it's
glavy.
glavy. And people come to us and they're in a very dark place, right? I
Yeah.
mean, nobody's going to look at this and get this, but look at this. So we take them from dark to light.
Mhm.
I thought that was brilliant on the part of the agency. The other part is we help a diverse cohort of people. So this shows
Mhm.
that it's not just all white women. We help men. We help Asians, Black Americans, American Indians or Native Americans and Arabs. I mean, everybody, this is about diversity right here. And I know right now
Right.
that's not in our political environment a word we're supposed to talk about, but it's
Mhm.
so
No,
yes.
for sure. We won together and congratulations, the brand purpose campaign of the year by both Ad Age and the ANA, the Association of National Advertisers, which is huge. And great clients beget great work. So,
Exactly.
um, how do you feel about winning those? That's kind of huge, winning in the advertising industry.
Well, when I showed this video to this woman in Chicago at Goldman Sachs,
Mhm.
and she said to me, and I'm not going to reveal numbers, but she said to me, I showed her everything else. She said, this company delivered a $2 million campaign to you. And I said, yeah, but we were only ordering the appetizers.
Right.
So for you and for us, for that to be awarded, really, it's your work. I mean, it was great for us, but it's better for you because that helps you get more clients.
Well, it's great for you in being able to knock on the doors of the CVSs of the world and
Yes,
all
and
these other
CVS is a
big
partner. With
brands,
Yeah.
right? Like I know your vision board has all these big brands on there because that's what you need is funding. And
Mhm.
so hopefully it opens the door for you. Let's talk a little bit about the climate right now. I mean, there's so much pressure on the economy and supporting not for profits. Are you feeling those pressures? What are the challenges right now? And how
So
are you
we are
navigating that?
fortunate that we don't rely on any government support. However, we can be heavily invested in industry, which is pharmaceutical support, and that is being affected right now. The concern over the tariffs.
Mhm.
Um, Also, another interesting thing is, drugs are on brand for a period of time, and then they go generic. And if they don't have a new drug in the pipeline, you know, revenue can be dicey. So that's a little bit of it, but because of the acquiring Breast Cancer Wellness magazine, which delivers education and is free to subscribe. It's a digital publication. We're seeing pharmaceutical industry getting more engaged that way because they have an opportunity to reach people when they need
Mhm.
perhaps their drugs or support. Um, it will be
So
interesting to see.
pharmaceutical companies, pharmacy retailers, they can all advertise in your publication.
We can accept advertising, yeah, and
How
we
do
can
they
accept
how do they
sponsor
contact you to do that?
magazine at thepinkfund.org.
Okay, let's make sure people are contacting you for that. But again, like you're thriving despite those challenges. You are amazing leader in that you navigate these kind of um, rocky waters or oversaturated um, requests to support organizations. And I think you're giving organizations a really meaningful way to commit. And I think it's interesting that you've aligned yourself with organizations that actually benefit by having these patients pay their bills, right? A car company should make sure that the people they sell cars to are able to make the lease payment, Or a mortgage company should make sure that they can pay the mortgage and stay in the house, because no mortgage company wants the house to go on the foreclosure block.
No,
Right.
no.
So, I mean, you've got a very interesting strategy and a very vertical focus to be able to help these patients and keep these companies thriving.
Well, it really is a great way to align from a marketing standpoint. I put Quicken Loans on my vision board in 2011, and in 2018, we became one of the beneficiaries from what was now the Rocket Golf Tournament in honor of their former CFO, Tammy Z, who passed away of metastatic breast cancer actually the same year I was diagnosed and in treatment.
Oh, wow.
And that golf tournament has paid us out about 377,000 um, that goes to making house payments. So we'd love a
Mm-hmm.
larger engagement with Rocket. Um, we are benefiting from CVS Health. We're in the second year of that partnership, and all their pharmacy stores are doing in-store advertising for us on their radio overhead advertising every hour on the hour for 4 weeks. And
Wow.
that helps us reach people who actually need our help too, because they're in, urban and rural communities. So
Right.
they're that program, they become our kind of brand ambassador.
Right. It's interesting because I don't think people think about nonprofits in the same realm of branding as they do for-profit companies. And you talk about how important the brand video plays, the rebrand of your brand identity. Talk a little bit about that, Molly. I mean, you come from a background of sales and marketing, and you've parlayed those skills into this not-for-profit in an amazing way. And I think that's something that a lot of individuals, corporations don't realize, the importance of branding in the non-for-profit space.
So I think when we talk about branding, I'd like to segue that over to storytelling. Branding is essentially storytelling, and
Mm-hmm.
storytelling is the essence of all businesses. And nonprofits, people don't like to think of it this way, but they are definitely a business. We
Mm-hmm.
have lawyers, we have accounting, we do audits, we have trademarks. And
Right.
so it's really important to understand that we run like a business. The only difference is that we don't pay tax. And so we're in the public domain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's been amazing to see. I want to go back to where you asked me about being an amazing leader and how I've thrived through all this. Just as a business has to forecast their revenue, right? What is that
Mm-hmm.
going to look like? What are we going to do if that money doesn't come in? What's going to how the tariffs going to affect our margins? In nonprofit, forecasting revenue can be a little dicey. So we're entering this time where there's a lot of uncertainty. Unfortunately, we're not as exposed as other organizations who rely on federal funding. And one of them just completely sundowned. It was a fabulous national organization that could no longer operate, and they were providing support for clinical trial participation. And they're done in December.
So, who would be your top 3 brands that you would want to have corporate sponsor or partnerships with?
Well, we have CVS Health. What I really want now is a roundup. We have one with Fleet Farms. Those are 49 farm stores, general farm stores. I think we're
Mm-hmm.
in the third or fourth year of that partnership. They vetted us, and it makes sense for us to be with them because people go in there to buy all kinds of merchandise, toys,
Right.
food, and we're reaching rural areas. I really want, and I really want a big partnership with Rocket Mortgage. And I think there's a really great alignment with them. Their new
And their local connection. Your roots are in Detroit, they're
right,
in Detroit. It
right.
makes a natural connection.
But their new chief marketing officer, Jonathan Mendenhall, I met him last couple weeks ago when I had to pull this raffle license for the golf tournament. And I asked for a meeting with him. He did put on his LinkedIn that he had made a donation to
I
Pink Fund.
saw that.
Yeah.
That's
So he's on my
awesome.
vision board. So Jonathan, if you're listening, watch out because I expect
Let's
a
make
phone call
sure.
from you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Jonathan at Rocket.
I I really want something with a pharmacy because that's where patients go to get their
Yeah.
medication. And prescription abandonment is a huge problem for patients. And I'd love to do something that helps us long term provide a vehicle, and I don't mean a car, but a way for them to make their medical copays and add on an additional program for that.
Molly, do you have to market both to corporate, like B2B audience, and to patients? How do each find out about you?
Well, patients, they just Google financial aid, but we have an amazing community outreach coordinator,
Yeah,
Rosalind Sample, and she works with all the hospitals, urban, rural, social workers, navigators. So she's done an amazing job. And every month they get a newsletter from her with updates and things to do, any changes we might have made to the application or the program. So there's a lot of education that she delivers. She also
right.
goes out into the community and attends national breast cancer conferences for us. So that's how patients find out.
Yeah.
Um, we don't
Corporations, you go to speaking engagements. How else do you market Pink Fund?
we do some employee education. We would come
Mm-hmm.
in and we talk about breast health and how to engage. We're in a situation now though where we have 5,000 applications in the queue from this year. So we went from a full-on paper application to digital, so patients can apply both ways. But now
Right.
we're a little concerned that we're going to get into a situation where we have more requests than we can meet. But we made a strategic decision. We were supporting patients at 500% or below or the federal poverty level. So we gave everybody a window of about 90 days and we pulled that back to 300% so that we have never denied a qualified patient who provides the supporting criteria in their application. And
And
we
they
don't
have
want to
to
be in that
be
situation.
right. And they actually have to be in treatment. So when they submit an application, how quickly do you all review it and get back to them?
If their application arrives with um, totally complete, which doesn't happen a lot, we don't have to follow up and try to get the rest of the information. 30 days, about 30 days.
That's amazing.
But we're not an
Just amazing.
emergency, or we don't do emergency funding.
Right. All right. Let's turn the corner. Tell me something spicy about you.
Well, you told me you didn't want me to talk about that. I'll tell you something. um, okay, spicy. I'm a wedding officiant, and I also can do funerals. And
Oh,
I'm, when I like being involved in people's lives when major things are happening that you can guide them through. So I love being a wedding officiant. You stand between these two people who are so in love, and you're writing something to open up the ceremony, you get to find out about their lives and write something that's meaningful to them. But this is kind of spicy. So I'm planning my funeral, and I want to pre-plan. Yeah. So I went to this pre-planning
it's a
funeral.
good thing to plan. Like, what are you going to wear? What are they going to say? The whole thing.
Well, I have it all down, but my husband and I made a decision to donate our bodies to science. But if we die on a Saturday or Sunday, they can't take us. So we have to have a backup plan how they're going to house us, for a couple of days. But so this is I guess this could be spicy. So I go to this planning luncheon, and I was very impressed really with why you should do this. But these people sitting next to me, um, they're single, but they're in love. And he kept texting her. He texted her, your sweetness is my weakness. He's texting her through this whole presentation. And they knew that I was a wedding officiant. So they've called and asked me to officiate their wedding. And I said, should we do it in rhyme? Because he was rhyming these.
Oh,
So I love that. My grandfather was a mortician, but he segued his business into manufacturing for coffin liners. So I think there's something in my DNA with
yeah.
funerals.
Weddings and funerals.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reason I asked you about spicy is, have you ever tried Dano's spice? It's a really
No.
great spice from Kentucky. It was started as a better way to make chicken for college buddies, and it's now turned into a national movement for better flavor. Dano's is an all-natural, low-sodium, zero-sugar seasoning that works on everything, meat, veggies, even popcorn.
Oh.
It's healthy, it's flavorful, it's for everyone. This is a mission-driven brand like Pink Fund, different mission. Incredible founder story from Dan Oliver, who's changing the way people season their food, and proof that you don't have to sacrifice health for taste. Yum, yum. Get you some, Molly.
Don't you give me some for being on the podcast?
I will. I'm going to give this to you when I'm done.
I love that he used his name that way, Dano's.
Dano, some Dano chicken.
Yeah.
Anyway, I see the pink unicorn behind you.
Oh, yeah. My friend Barbara Yolles Like we gave me that.
Gave you that.
Yeah.
So if you were a unicorn, what would your name be?
Oh my God. Gertrude.
Gertrude? How come?
Because I hate that name. It was my grandmother's name and it's my middle name, but I think it stands out because nobody has Gertrude as their name.
That's a good name. I think it's a memorable name. I
Yeah.
will always remember Molly Gertrude
Gertrude the unicorn.
MacDonald. Yeah. All right. Last question, Molly. What's next for Molly? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Well, I want to keep doing weddings. I have a couple screenplays in the works. So, we'll see, I'm looking towards a retirement in about 3 years. I also want to teach yoga in senior centers.
Yeah.
'Cause I helped my mom get stronger and better by making her do yoga with me when I brought her to my home to take
Yeah.
care of her. And when she came, she couldn't do the stairs, and I got her to be able to do the stairs. We did chair yoga.
Amazing.
So
What's your screenplay about?
Oh, that's about my former husband losing all our money. It's called Greed.
Ooh, that sounds like one we need to tune in. A Netflix special or Apple? I don't know. I'm seeing.
That one could be a series. I started it. I have the beginning and the ending, but the base of it really is about a person who was really wrestling with wanting a lot of money, who had a porn addiction and lost everything, but also was a born again Christian conducting Bible studies. And so just the conflict in this
Wow.
person.
Who would play you? Who's the actress that would play you?
Well, I only have a little part in it. It's more the person I want Jeff Daniels to play my former husband.
Oh,
So
okay. Good.
here's something about me you don't know. So when I was first reporter, I worked in Chelsea, Michigan,
Yeah.
and Jeff Daniels is from there, and I was assigned to cover the high school play. And he was in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown as Snoopy. And I am sitting in their high school auditorium, and it is clear that this Snoopy dog was really the dog. Like I remember writing, Senior Jeff Daniels did not act as Snoopy, he became Snoopy.
Very cool.
So I want Jeff Daniels to pay, or
I think
Tom Hanks.
Yeah. Well, you got a Jeff Daniels connection, so that seems like very fitting.
Mhm.
Well, Molly, thank you for inspiring all of us to think bigger about what a mission-driven brand can do and for sharing the incredible journey of the Pink Fund. You've shown us that a brand isn't just built on colors or
That's
campaigns, it's built on courage and conviction and the ability to turn purpose into impact. So by tackling the often ignored financial toxicity crisis, you've created a brand that delivers immediate impact. And I just want to put a plug in for Pink Fund is proof that you can lead with vision and authenticity and action. And for those of you out there tuning in, let's be sure to support the Pink Fund. You can visit pinkfund.org to learn more and to donate and support this amazing cause, real help right now to these patients who really need it most. Thank you so much, Molly.
Thank you. And I'm expecting my Dano Spice today.
I will be walking down to the hallway to you to give you some Danos. It's delicious. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.